A hush fell over the Royal Burger Zoo in Arnhem. Mama, their beloved 59-year-old chimpanzee matriarch, was dying. She had stopped eating days ago, and despite the staff's best efforts, her decline seemed irreversible. But one last visit would prove extraordinary. Mama wasn't just any resident of the zoo, she was its heart. Rescued as an orphan after poachers took her parents, she had grown from a frightened young chimp into a wise and gentle leader. At the zoo, she became the cornerstone of groundbreaking primate research while nurturing generations of younger chimps with her natural grace and intelligence. Her remarkable story intertwined with that of Professor Jan van Hoof, who co-founded the zoo's chimpanzee colony in 1972. Over decades, their bond transcended the usual boundaries between researcher and subject. Through countless observations and interactions, Jan had become more than a scientist to Mama. He was her friend. When word reached John in April 2016 that Mama was fading, the retired primatologist knew he had to say goodbye. He couldn't bear the thought of her facing these final days without seeing him one last time. What happened next would demonstrate the profound depth of a friendship that bridged the gap between species. During his journey to the zoo, memories washed over Jan. He saw Mama as she had been, young, vibrant, commanding respect from her colony with natural grace. Through countless hours of observation, she had taught him more about chimpanzee society than any textbook could capture. She revealed the profound depths of primate emotion and intelligence, transforming from research subject to cherished friend. Now, approaching her enclosure, Jan's hope mingled with dread. The once mighty matriarch lay still, her frail form barely stirring. His heart caught in his throat as he called out softly, "Mama, it's me, Jan. I've come to see you." Silence. The staff watched, holding their breath as Jan tried again, louder this time. "Mama, do you remember me?" Still no response. Fighting back tears, Jan reached for one last connection, a simple melody he used to hum during their time together. As the familiar tune filled the air, something extraordinary happened. Mama's ears twitched. Her eyes flickered open, searching until they found him. In that moment, a spark of recognition lit her gaze, and the years between them melted away. The staff watched in awe as their profound bond bridged even the chasm of death itself. Jan kept singing as he moved closer, tears streaming down his face. When he reached for her hand, Mama's fingers curled weakly around his, a gesture that spoke volumes. Her tired eyes held his gaze, showing a glimmer of her old spirit despite her exhaustion. "You remember, don't you, Mama?" he whispered between verses. "We've been through so much together." With tremendous effort, Mama lifted her other hand toward him. The staff watched in stunned silence as she reached out, her movement slow but deliberate. Jan caught her hand gently in his, feeling the delicate pressure of her grip. "I'm here, Mama," he soothed. "You're not alone." As he resumed the familiar melody, her eyes never left his face. She held on a little tighter, as if his presence and the song had rekindled something vital within her. In that moment, their decades of shared history crystallized into a profound connection that transcended words. The staff watched through tears as these old friends found each other one last time. The staff stood mesmerized, witnessing something extraordinary. Against all odds, Jan's unwavering resolve and the deep bond he shared with the chimpanzee were sparking a transformation they had feared impossible. Mama, responding to Jan's voice, seemed almost revived. It was as if a miracle was unfolding. The depth of their connection was unmistakable, unlike anything the team had seen between human and animal before. As John sang and softly spoke to her, Mama's response grew bolder. She began to tilt her head toward his voice, her eyes brightening with a hint of their old vitality. This unexpected progress lifted the team's spirits, replacing their dread with hope. Mama seemed not yet ready to surrender, and the atmosphere in her enclosure shifted dramatically from gloom to a cautious optimism. Inspired, the caregivers redoubled their efforts, doing everything they could to bring her comfort and care. Remarkably, the bond between Jan and Mama even had a noticeable effect on the other chimpanzees. They too had been downcast, visibly anxious as they observed Mama's struggles. But as they watched her interact with Jan, a new energy spread among them. Slowly, they gathered near the enclosure's edge, vocalizing gently and stretching their hands toward the pair, forming a collective show of empathy and support that was incredible to see. Then, something unexpected caught Jan's eye. As he tenderly held Mama's hand, he noticed her glancing repeatedly at a specific corner of her enclosure. Following her gaze, he approached a small pile of straw and leaves, just slightly disturbed as if something were hidden within. Intrigued, Jan sifted through the straw, revealing a secret stash of food, bits of fruit, nuts, and primate biscuits carefully tucked away. Mama had been quietly storing these treats, preserving them for a moment when they might be needed. The discovery left John and the staff deeply moved. It was clear that, despite her outward frailty, Mama's spirit and instinct to survive had not faded. She had been preparing, safeguarding her resources in a quiet show of resilience and intelligence. This hidden cache was a powerful reminder of her inner strength, adding a profound new layer to the team's understanding of her will to live. With this new understanding, the staff adjusted their care for Mama, offering her small servings of her favorite foods to help sustain her interactions with Jan. The positive atmosphere had a ripple effect. The other chimpanzees picked up on the energy, becoming livelier and more engaged, bringing a renewed spirit to everyone involved. Day by day, Mama's moments with Jan seemed to spark gentle yet profound improvements in her health. She began nibbling on small portions from her hidden stash, and her energy steadily returned. Watching her gradual recovery left the staff astonished. It was as if her will to keep fighting was deeply tied to Jan's presence. One afternoon, as Jan sat beside her, reminiscing about their shared past, he had a powerful realization. The hidden stash of food, Mama's renewed interest in eating, her attentiveness, it all pointed to a profound truth. Mama had been holding on for him. Her strength, carefully reserved, reflected her quiet determination to see him again, sensing that his visit would finally come. The depth of this realization moved Jan to tears. He looked at Mama, filled with an overwhelming sense of love and respect for her resilience. In her wisdom, she had saved her strength for the one person who had been her source of comfort and companionship for years. The staff shared in Jan's revelation, deeply touched by the significance of this bond. They understood now that they weren't just tending to an aging chimpanzee. They were honoring a friendship that had endured through trust, respect, and shared memories. In her final days, Mama found solace in Jan's presence. His visits brought a familiar peace that eased her spirit. The sight of her recognizing his voice, her eyes lighting up with the warmth of that connection, became a source of comfort not only for her, but also for Jan. Their bond, strong until the end, gave her the strength to find tranquility and security in her last moments. Mama's passing was serene and dignified, surrounded by the familiar sounds of her colony and Jan's comforting presence. As she drifted away, she left behind an enduring legacy, her life a testament to the profound emotional and intellectual capacities of chimpanzees. Mama had not only been a keystone in primate research, but also a beloved leader within her community. To celebrate her life, the zoo held a gathering that brought together staff, researchers, and the local community. People shared stories of her remarkable contributions to science, her strength as a leader among her peers, and, most memorably, her unique bond with Jan. The event became a powerful tribute to a life that had deeply impacted so many. During the celebration, Jan spoke from the heart. Mama wasn't just a research subject, she was a friend. She taught us about the intricacies of chimpanzee society, the depth of their emotions, and the strength of their connections. Her legacy will continue in our work, inspired by her life and the lessons she shared with us. Mama's story extended far beyond the zoo's walls, reaching people worldwide and inspiring a new appreciation for chimpanzees. Her journey underscored the importance of conservation and ethical research, calling for a future where these incredible animals are protected and respected. As John and the zoo staff moved forward, they carried with them the invaluable lessons Mama had imparted. Her story would continue to inspire and shape the future of primate research and conservation, a future brightened by her enduring legacy. Have you ever had the chance to observe chimpanzees in their natural or zoo habitats? Share your experiences in the comments. We'd love to hear. Until next time, take care and join us for the next story.